Football is built on belief. Belief in clubs. Belief in fairness. Behind trophies and celebrations, football has faced moments of power, influence, and controversy. This is a look at 5 clubs whose success changed the conversation around football forever. Paris Saint-Germain were once a domestic club with limited global reach. Backed by a nation, PSG's ambition accelerated instantly. Record-breaking transfers followed. Global stars arrived. Visibility became power. To supporters, PSG represented opportunity, proved that French football could compete with Europe's elite. To critics, the project raised deeper questions. Concerns emerged over financial fair play, market inflation, and political influence. PSG's ownership was also linked to Qatar's broader geopolitical strategy, using sport as a tool for global soft power. The club denied any improper influence and complied with UEFA regulations. In fact, PSG passed multiple financial fair play reviews, though not without controversy. The debate was never just about legality. It was about fairness. Could clubs backed by sovereign wealth ever truly compete on equal terms with traditionally run teams? PSG became the symbol of that question. Success domestically was expected. Failure in Europe became magnified. And with every signing, every sponsorship, every Champions League campaign, PSG were judged not as a club, but as a statement. Manchester City's rise is one of football's most dramatic transformations. In little more than a decade, a mid-table English club became a global superpower. Titles followed. Records fell. Then in 2023, English football dropped a bombshell. The Premier League charged Manchester City with over 100 alleged breaches of its financial regulations, covering between a period between 2009 and 2018. Accusations included claims that the club failed to provide accurate financial information, misrepresented sponsorship revenue, and did not fully cooperate with investigations. Manchester City strongly denied all charges. The club stated that it possessed irrefutable evidence to prove its innocence and welcomed the opportunity of an independent hearing. To be clear, these are charges, not verdicts. No punishment has been issued. No guilt has been established, but the scale of the case is unprecedented. Never before has the Premier League pursued a club on this level, nor with consequences that could shape English football. Supporters argue City are being targeted for success. Critics argue financial regulations are meaningless if not enforced. The case now exists beyond Manchester City. It questions competitive balance, ownership power, and whether modern football can regulate itself. When a verdict finally arrives, it won't just define Manchester City, it may define the future of the game itself. Real Madrid are the most successful club in football history, but with success on that scale, questions have always followed. Not just about football, but about power. Much of the controversy traces back to 20th century Spain under the dictatorship of General Francisco Franco. During this period, Real Madrid rose to international dominance, winning 5 consecutive European Cups in the 1950s. To critics, the timing felt political. They argued that Real Madrid became a symbol of regime, promoted internationally as Spain's image of strength and unity. Claims of state favoritism followed. Supporters of this view point to historical moments, including controversial refereeing decisions, disputed transfers as evidence that Madrid benefited from proximity to power. But there's a distinction. No court has ever ruled that Real Madrid were institutionally favored by the Franco regime. Historians also know that the club had a complex relationship with the dictatorship, at times benefiting from its visibility, while at others facing internal conflict and financial difficulty. Real Madrid themselves reject the narrative entirely. The club maintains that its success was built on recruitment, innovation, and sporting excellence, not politics. To Madrid supporters, the accusations are revisionist history. To rivals, they are context that can't be ignored. What remains undeniable is this: Real Madrid's dominance occurred in a deeply political era. And whether power shaped football or football was simply used by power depends on who is telling the story. The trophies are real. The debate is eternal. Football Club Barcelona built a global identity on beauty, ideology, and superiority. Més que un club, more than a club. But in 2023, that image was placed under its greatest modern scrutiny. Spanish prosecutors revealed that between 2001 and 2018, Barcelona paid more than 7 million euros to companies linked to José María Enríquez Negreira, the former vice president of Spain's referees committee. For nearly 2 decades, the payment continued under different club presidents. Barcelona denied any wrongdoing. The club stated the money was paid for technical reports and referee analysis, legal consultancy, intended to understand how referees interpret the game. Prosecutors disagreed. They argued that the relationship created a conflict of interest and accused the club of attempting to influence officiating, even without proof that specific matches were altered. Crucially, no sporting verdict has been delivered. No evidence has proven referees were instructed to favor Barca. No titles have been stripped, but the impact was immediate. Rivals called it institutional corruption. Supporters called it a targeted attack. UEFA opened its own investigation. Sponsors watched carefully. For the first time in years, Barcelona weren't defending trophies. They were defending credibility. The Negreira case remains unsolved, and until a final judgment is delivered, Barcelona exists in a rare position, not condemned by verdict, but questioned by history. For decades, Juventus were more than a football club. They were power. Founded in 1897, backed by the Agnelli family, and never relegated on sporting merit, Juventus dominated Italian football, on the pitch and beyond it. By the early 2000s, success had become routine. Influence had become invisible. Then in 2006, Italian football collapsed under one word: Calciopoli. Prosecutors uncovered phone conversations between Juventus' general manager Luciano Moggi and senior referee officials. The recordings did not prove match fixing. No evidence showed referees being paid to change results. Juventus were found guilty of influencing referee appointments, of pressuring officials to assign favorable referees, and to avoid those they considered hostile. The issue wasn't the scorelines, it was control of the system itself. Juventus were not alone. Other clubs, including Milan, Fiorentina, and Lazio, were also implicated. But prosecutors believed that Juventus were at the center of the network. The punishment shocked football. Juventus were stripped of 2 Serie A titles, relegated to the Serie B for the first time in their history. Luciano Moggi was banned from the game. Stars like Ibrahimovic, Fabio Cannavaro and Patrick Vieira all left. Others stayed. To supporters, it was betrayal and selective justice. To rivals, it was long overdue accountability. Calciopoli didn't just change Juventus. It shattered Serie A's global reputation, rewrote Italian football governance, and left a debate that still hasn't ended. The verdict was delivered in court, but in the court of football opinion, Calciopoli is still on trial.